It's Davetona drive time for the week of December 22nd. Coming to you at 9:30 on this very chilly Monday morning. For the first time since I started this podcast, there's no snow on the ground, which is I hesitate to say welcome sight, but it's been like constantly on and off. Like, it's not enough to be a nuisance, like if there's not a lot of snow on the ground, it's what it is. Or when there is a lot of snow on the ground, it can be a nuisance, but snow is still a very exciting thing for me, not having grown up with a whole lot of snowfall. As an adult, it still brings me some amount of joy to see snow falling. But it's all cleared up now, at least for the moment. We're bound to see more snow later in the season. Anyway, it's the week of Christmas. Christmas coming in hot on a Thursday. But that doesn't mean there were no game news stories. News stories in the world of video games. There's a handful. But I think the biggest one was from the Indie Game Awards. Not the Keeleys, but the Indie Game Awards. I was, in the back of my mind, I knew this show existed, but also I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that was a thing. As much as I like indie games, it wasn't something that I was like aware of. I don't know. It's more of those constant things in the back of your mind. They're like, oh yeah, I know that's a thing, right? Yeah. They have rescinded the awards, revoked the awards for Best Debut Game and Game of the Year to Claire Obscure Expedition 33, and have re-awarded those awards to different games. Claire Obscure was revoked because the developers came out after the fact that they had won that, like, yes, we did use generative AI in the making of our game. And as a result, the award was revoked, and the new or best debut game was given to a game called, oh shit, I forget what the name of this game was called. It's free on Epic. I honestly had never heard of it, but I own it now, I guess. Oh my god, I should have looked at the headline better. I'm driving, so I can't, so I'm flying at the seat of my pants. But you already probably know what it is. But more importantly, well, I would say more importantly to me, Game of the Year was awarded to Blueprints, which is a game I actually did play through and very much enjoyed it. Blueprints was a game that is definitely not in my wheelhouse, not in my alley, but was part of a little smaller initiative I had during this year, 2025, to start playing games that were not in my wheelhouse. So I ended up playing a couple of things that I typically wouldn't be playing otherwise. And Blueprints, it being on Game Pass when I had Game Pass at the time, and me hearing so many rave reviews about it, I was like, okay, I'll take the plunge. I'll give it a shot, and thoroughly enjoyed Blueprints. I really liked that game, and now I believe it's getting the recognition it deserves. But yeah, that Expedition 33 thing is wild. Especially with the it's been changed now, but I was shown on Bluesky this bonkers ass article written by the Escapist. It was like, oh my god, I've never seen something so horribly written in my life. I mean, hyperbole obviously, but like, Jesus. There's like no journalistic integrity. Pretty much the article written by an Escapist writer talking about how the Indie Award was revoked from Claire Obscure and given to the other games. More or less straight up accused Blueprints of also using Gen AI when it absolutely did not at all. And it, like, caught in 4K kind of thing, like, what are you doing? If you needed more of an excuse to not read The Escapist, I guess there's more of it. God, what the fuck happened to the Escapist? Granted, I never read the Escapist a ton. I remember going to it a lot in high school because that's where Yahtzee and Zero Punctuation was. I mean, that's all that site was to me, was Yahtzee. Now, I couldn't tell you the last Yahtzee video I watched. I follow Second Wind online, those guys, but like, not necessarily something I like keep up with. You know, it's more of a courtesy follow. I do that a lot. I'll do a courtesy follow to people and creators and other games media people online that I have an amount of respect for, even though if I don't keep up with their content. I do the same with YouTubers. That's a topic for another time, though. But yeah, fuck the Escapist. I mean, if you want your news about fucking casino games, I guess that you could. I don't know if there's a better option out there. Learn all about Chumba Casino today. The other story I was actually pleasantly surprised about was R-Type Dimensions 3. Did you know they're making an R-Type Dimensions 3? Did you know they're making a new R-Type? I fucking love R-Type. I should play more R-Type. I fucking love that the TurboGrafx 16 port of the original R-Type. And despite owning a Master System, at one point owning a Master System and the Master System port of R-Type, I only probably played that version once because it was like, this doesn't feel like how I think R-Type should feel. Because the TurboGrafx port was just such a high bar. I don't know what compelled me to buy that game when it first came out. Like, well, not first came out. I say that like I was there in like the late 80s, early 90s. No, I bought R-Type. It was like one of the first games I bought on the Wii Virtual Console. And for whatever reason, it was the only TurboGrafx game that was $8. All the others were $6. I don't know what compelled me to want to buy that because I was so budget conscious about spending my points. I just knew R-Type was like a historically significant game, and I just felt compelled to play it. I wish I knew what my mindset was. There was a time where I was just like, I felt it necessary for me to play historically significant video games during high school, which in hindsight, I'm so glad I did. But looking back, I don't know what it was that triggered that I feel like I needed to play some of those games. And I played a lot of games as a result, especially that of indie games. I played and bought a lot of indie games during that time. Some that I'm like, looking back on, I'm like, why did I even bother playing this? I don't like these kinds of games. But also, it's like essentially establishing your tastes in games. So, you know, you win some, you lose some. Anyway, R-Type Dimensions 3, they're making one of those. The big thing about that game is the Switch 2 version apparently was initially going to be released on a game key card and will now be released on a full cart. And apparently this is due because Nintendo is enabling developers to have an option of how big your game cards are. Like they're having like, you got a 16 gig game card, a 32 gig game card, and a 64 gig game card. I want to say the default right now is 64 gig, which has deterred a lot of developers from wanting games on there, which is contrary to what an Ubisoft dev said about putting Star Wars Outlaws on a game key card, where like the read speeds on a game card do not compare to the internal memory, which makes perfect sense in that case. But I feel like giving players the option of having the full game on the card is a better deal, you know? I own a Switch 2. I've played it a lot on stream. And I want to buy and play more games on my Switch 2, but the game key card stuff has deterred me from doing that. Like, I see, like during Black Friday, I saw like Sonic Shadow Generations, Yakuza 0, all that stuff for like a pretty steep discount, relatively speaking, and I'm like, oh, I really want to play these. But what's the point of the game key card if like it's going to act the same as if I had a downloadable copy, you know? Or, you know, like, I don't know. I feel some sort of way about it. Like, I only owned 2 physical Switch games. It's Donkey Kong and Kirby. I plan on getting Metroid Prime 4 at some point. I feel like the only game that I've bought other than those that have done it right, I bought Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4. Like, I bought a physical box of that. There's no game card in there. It's just a download code. Like, if you're going to give me a game that is a game key card only, I would much rather prefer me buying a box copy with just a code in there instead. For one, the box art looks nicer, less busy. It looks less busy. Looks way less busy. And also, I can have the benefit of having a nice looking box copy without needing a cartridge. I don't know. It's a weird compromise. Like, yeah, I like the idea of having a box copy of my game, but it's not going to act like a boxed copy of a game if it's a game key card. And at that point, just give me a code in a box. I'm weird. Like, I only want the game card. I only want the game if it's on the full card. I don't know. It's a weird mind game, and the internet kind of did this to me. At first, I was like, okay, like, I'm just going to put the game key card in there like any other game. Like, I don't see what the big deal is. But then I realized in my mind, like, oh, like, it's downloading the whole game. It's going to take up space on my Switch. Like, the whole ass game is just going to download onto my Switch, whether the game key card's in there or not. That part kind of ticked me off. Because I'd rather, if it's a 80 gig game or something like that, or some like massive file size, and it's going to take up space on there regardless if the game key card's inserted or not, like, that really bothered me, especially when you're having to use like proprietary micro SD Express cards. I mean, I say proprietary, but like, what other device is using micro SD Express? It's making me more budget conscious to a certain degree. On one hand, it's like, oh, I'm not buying as many video games because they're not being released in the desired format that I would prefer. So it's a win and loss for me because I'm not getting the games I want to play, but also I'm not spending as much money as I think I would have. If anything, it's deterred me from just like, I'd rather just, if it's only being on a game key card, I'd rather just play it on Steam. You know? But that's just me. There were other stories, but those were the 2 that stood out to me. I'm still on my Sulfur bullshit. Playing way more Sulfur. I'm in the second to last area of the game. You're like in this like cool little shanty town with like frog ninjas and dudes like that. And I've had 2 wipes on the boss of that area, and it's been so infuriating. It takes me back to my initial time playing Demon Souls and just being like so far in an area and like just fucking losing everything. Ugh. It is a horrible feeling, but damn, is it also kind of relief because I've carried so much stuff in my inventory in that game that like it's all gone now. Like, oh god, I don't have to worry about that. Now I can just build up a character again, essentially. Build up a whole loadout and try it again. It's the final boss of that area that like bugs me. It's a giant worm essentially that is like diving in and out of the ground, and its weak point is the back side of the worm, or like the tail end. You know, it looks like a Space Harrier boss that's made up of like different segments, and its weak point is the final segment. And if you've ever played a Risk of Rain 2, if you've seen like the weird little lava worms, its movement is a lot like that, where like it dives up out of the ground and it slowly like hangs in the air, and then it dives down real quick. So you have to be like really, really fast with like aiming at the tail end. But his attack is essentially like him diving onto you, which does a ton of damage. But follow-ups of that are like his shockwave does damage from coming into the diving into the ground and coming out of the ground. So like he has like, if you get caught by him diving into the ground, you get like direct damage from him, and also being dealt with the shockwave damage, which is like can like take you out instantly. And that's happened to me twice. So I need to essentially build a loadout that can withstand multiple hits. I just need to be on like, I need a rigorous healing regimen. I like set myself up to have like a bunch of healing items just ready to go. But yeah, I'm still loving the hell out of Sulfur though. God, I can't stop playing that game. It's so fun. And then on Saturday, we did a live stream for the holidays. I played no holiday games. I just played a bunch of arcade racers, stuff I've been wanting to like revisit and go back to. Mainly, I wanted to play. I wanted to go back and play Old School Rally, and I wanted to play hashtag Drive Rally because both of those got pretty substantial updates recently. Old School Rally hit 1.0 and added in a few more vehicles and the last few bits of the Grand Prix mode, or the arcade rally mode. And that's a good substantial upgrade. That game's only like $12. Like, right now, like, not on sale. It's $12 just straight up. I couldn't believe it. I don't know if it's going to stay that price. It's out on consoles now. I'd be surprised if it's still $12 because there's a good amount of game in there. And then hashtag Drive Rally, which hit 1.0 like over a year ago or something like that, but saw a very significant update. Like, they altered the handling model, and that game feels so different from when I initially played it. I played through that game entirely, played through the whole championship mode, which also has a large amount of content in it. And then going back to some of the stages in that game, rally stages in that game, and just going out with a car and just seeing all the stuff they changed. Yeah, they altered the handling model, so like drifting feels like more intuitive in a way. Like, it's a lot easier for your car to sustain a drift in a turn, because otherwise it used to be like, okay, your car is drifting and then like you can easily like let off the gas, hit the brake, and then like almost come to a dead stop and then immediately gain traction again. Like, it was a very traction focused type of drift system, and it almost felt like you could essentially play the game on autopilot. Like, driving the controls felt like an extension of yourself, and it's like you can go around these tracks like it was nothing. Now it feels like there's an actual like large level of skill involved to get around these turns, which is what I prefer. Like, I'm flying at the I'm flying by the seat of my pants, to use that expression again, when I'm going through those courses, because it's like I worry about going to the corner and like, am I going to be able to break this hit the apex just right and brake correctly and whatever. Because otherwise it was just like all the turns were like going through the motions and me figuring it out, like turn by turn, essentially. But now there's like a good level of skill involved, and it feels really, really fucking good. I'm really happy with the changes they made to that game. I've completed the championship mode. I kind of want to wipe my progress and go through it again. Like, I had that much fun with it. We played a little bit of Dangerous Driving, which that's a 3 Fields Entertainment game. We did learn that Dangerous Driving 2 essentially became Recreation, which is having some issues right now, or at least the studio is running into issues with seeing a return on investment on Recreation, which is a real bummer, because it feels like they finally, it sounds like from people who played Recreation, they've more or less have like accomplished what they set out to do with that game, like make a new open world Burnout style game. I do intend on playing that at some point. And then I played a game called Drive Crazy. It's not out yet. There's a demo available of it on Steam. You're driving one of those little K trucks, like those tiny little Japanese trucks, and it's a bonkers ass game. Like it's got 2 levels. One of them is like you're essentially driving through a rally stage, and then the other one is you're driving through a town that is like blowing the fuck up. And you learn that your little K truck can do all these moves. It can do like a spin attack. It can ride on walls. It's insane, and it controls really well. And it's got a level of jank to it where I feel like you could really exploit its physics a lot, and that makes me really excited to play more of it. It's a free demo. I highly recommend checking it out if that sounds remotely interesting. I know I'm not doing this game enough justice only talking about it right now from what I played of it and what little of it is available now, but I highly recommend checking out Drive Crazy on Steam. It was really fun. But yeah, that essentially covers what I played. I think that'll do it for this. Not a long episode. Not a whole lot of news. Not a ton of news happened. And I only played the same games again. Not much news on the Saturnology front, but I was going through a box of stuff and found a bunch of my old third-party Saturn controllers. After my stream on Saturday, I was thinking about different Saturn controllers because someone in the chat brought up a Dreamcast racing wheels. Dreamcast racing wheels. Jeez, I don't know why that was hard for me to comprehend at first. And it got me thinking about Saturn third-party controllers. And so I found found one of my boxes and dug out a bunch of controllers. And like, the wheels started spinning in my head of like, I think I got an idea for a video about this. But I'm making more video ideas and starting scripts and then not finishing them, which is a big problem. So I want to focus on like one thing at a time. But, you know, it's the ADHD and the peer-reviewed autism that's doing this to me. But we'll see how much of that changes in the new year. Next Monday, usually when I upload these on Mondays, next Monday, I want to have an episode ready, but I'll be celebrating Christmas out of town, so I'll think of something. I'll try to schedule something. If you do hear something next Monday, you'll know that I accomplished something for this. But yeah, that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching if you're on YouTube. Happy holidays. I'll catch you in the new year. Have a good one.